Hello everyone, this is part 17 of What If Naruto Was Hashirama's Heir, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Tension, so thick it almost seemed palpable. There was an oppressive pressure in the air and would have surely demoralized and paralyzed lesser individuals. Luckily, Toby was strong enough mentally to still be able to stand, let alone speak, after his rendition of events since his latest sensei's death. 6 Bayu, said Madara as he stared out at the forest surrounding him. Toby stood beside Madara but a few steps back as they both were overlooking the land outside their hideout. The calm tone of Madara irked Toby because he'd expected rash aggression and verbal slander from the man. Instead, he was treated with an even worse outcome, disappointment. There's nothing like disappointing someone who depended on you or had hopes for you. It's a kick to the stomach. A physical kick can be healed, but disappointment was an emotional kick to the stomach that lingered. It was pain without remedy. It just hurt. So Toby said nothing as he sat in silence with Madara continuing to look outward into the forest. The silence was inevitably broken when Zetsu appeared from the ground and gave some news that released some of the tension. Madara-sama, the last 3 Bayu are all in one place, said Black Zetsu as his white half continued for him. The Nibi, Hachibi, and the Kyubi are all facing off against the other members of Akatsuki. It does seem like the Jinchuriki will succeed. Though it may take a lot out of them and you can clean up and take all 3 at the same time. Madara's head picked up at that as his Sharingan glowed. It appears that you have been given a chance to reconcile your mistake. Let us go, we will collect the Bayu now and finish Project Tsuki no Mi. Toby nodded his head before placing a hand on Madara's back. A spiral vortex appeared as the two of them vanished into it. This should be interesting, said Zetsu before he disappeared into the ground to get a view of the fight that was about to occur. Kumogakure 10 minutes earlier. We never catch a break from these guys, said Naruto before dodging a myriad of attacks against him from one of the zombie duo, Kakazu. Just after dodging Kakazu, Naruto was met with the constant offense of Hidden as he jumped back away from swings of the man's side. 20 minutes ago, everything was calm and Naruto was just telling Yugito about a Megakure. Then they noticed Killer B shift into the Hachibi. Yugito realized that if B did something like that within the confines of Kumogakure then he was likely in a battle and the two took off immediately. Luckily they did as they were met with Kisame battling against B and 3 more members of Akatsuki waiting for them in Deidara, Hidden, and Kakazu. Yugito set off to deal with Deidara as Naruto handled the zombie duo. Each of the 3 Jinchuriki was separated on 3 different mountain peaks turned platforms in their duel with Akatsuki. Almost in a triangle if one were to look from above. And Naruto was left against 2 opponents to contend with in the battle. The zombie duo was relentless in their assault as far as Naruto was concerned, especially Hidden. But Naruto had information on the 2 of them and Hidden wasn't really as good as his S rank led him to be. Immortality and wanton slaughter certainly bolstered one's reputation. Eventually, Naruto stopped dodging before stepping into one of Hidden's swings with a tri-pronged kunai in hand. Blocking the scythe with ease, Naruto planted a kick in Hidden's sternum to send him skidding backward. Naruto then looked over to Kakazu to see him standing still and just staring at him. A black being, comprised completely of threads with a white mask and red painting on it, appeared right next to Naruto as he looked on at its sudden appearance. Kaiten, Zukoku, fire style. Intelligent hard work, said Kakazu as a ball of fire appeared in the mask's mouth and fired off a powerful stream of fire that engulfed Naruto. The fire blazed for a while before coming to a stop to reveal Naruto burning completely. Though it was only a wood clone. Just like Hashirama. I can't tell the difference between the clones and the original. Kakazu watched his fire mask get dragged into the ground by its ankles from a pair of hands belonging to another Naruto clone. As the being got dragged down, another Naruto was revealed behind it with a Rasengan flowing through the back of the mask's head. Rasengan, said Naruto as the bright blue ball of energy burst the mask into pieces as the threads simply went limp as if it died. Naruto let the Rasengan dissipate before looking at Kakazu. 1 heart down. 4 more to go. He has information on me, thought Kakazu before seeing Hiden run up behind Naruto to strike him down. Kakazu followed the movement with his eyes as he continued thinking. The kid is definitely no pushover. I have to be more careful about my approach. All I need is one hit. One drop of blood, said Hiden, swinging his scythe with newfound effort and in a way that caused fewer openings than his previous attempt. Come on, kid. Just mess up once. You're too slow to touch me, said Naruto, blocking several strikes with his kunai before feeling Kakazu appear behind him. An orange chakra shroud burst around Naruto as he simply vanished from view, dodging the backhand from Kakazu in the process. Kakazu's eyes widened at the speed before he watched Naruto appear behind Hiden with a kunai lodged through his chest, directly where his heart is. The Kyuubi, you tamed it, said Kakazu, seeing the orange glow in Naruto's now slit eyes. Kakazu spat out black threads, deciding to alter his game plan. This really isn't good. That hurts, asshole. Well, I could have put this kunai in your brain to see what that would have done, but you really are immortal. That's amazing, said Naruto as Hiden just stared at Naruto with a smug look. Yeah, so now you see how useless fighting me is. Just give up. You'll save me a lot of time, said Hiden before feeling Naruto turn his kunai inside his body. Damn it, kid. I'm immortal. What part of that don't you get? Unknowingly to Hiden, the small seal on Naruto's kunai glowed after Naruto twisted his kunai and it seeped out across Hiden's back. Naruto left his kunai in Hiden before stepping backward and clapping his hands together. Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, Uzumaki sealing technique, said Naruto, placing his hands in the boar seal before slamming his right hand on the ground. A seal etched its way to Hiden before closing him in a circle of kanji. In the middle of the seal, an Uzumaki swirl appeared right below Hiden before sparking with lightning and glowing blue. Hiden appeared to be dragged into the ground before vanishing entirely, sealed into the earth with Naruto's kunai sticking out of the ground as a sort of tombstone. Naruto nodded at his work before looking at Kakazu. Hiden was a fool to allow an Uzumaki to touch him for that long, said Kakazu as Naruto tensed at Kakazu squatting down. Let's see how you compare to Hashirama. See if you even match his strength. Naruto noticed Kakazu's new appearance. Kakazu's threads had spread out of his body, taking on a sort of octopus-like appearance as Naruto could feel his chakra level increase in the new form. Not only that, Kakazu had the remaining three of his masks appear above and on either side of his head, all preparing a different element to send Naruto's way. Kakazu leaped into the air before stopping and hovering above Naruto in the sky. Naruto's eyes pandered up to Kakazu's before a small smile graced his face. At least he's not as dumb as his partner, said Naruto before frowning slightly. Why am I happy about that? That makes it harder for me. Naruto then dodged one of Kakazu's tendrils coming down as their fight began again. With Killer Bee. Oh ho ho ho, Hachibi. You're probably the strongest Jinchuriki I've ever faced. Maybe outside of Naruto-san, said an enormous Kisame with more shark-like attributes than before. Kisame had merged with Samehada earlier in the fight. This bolstered his physical appearance into that of a monstrous humanoid shark. And he was facing against the full Bayu in the Hachibi at the current moment. This water prison is mighty big. But Killer Bee-sama still gonna split your wig. Yeeeeeaahhh, shouted Killer Bee in his fully transformed form, trapped inside a massive dome of water that Kisame created. In Bee's mindscape, he was tapped on the head by one of the Hachibi's giant fingers. Conserve your air. Stop all that useless rapping, this opponent is strong. I know that 8-0. I am taking him seriously. Just give me a bit of your chakra and we'll wipe him out with a Bayudama. No rap meant Bee was serious. Outside of Bee's mindscape, a violent black ball began to form just outside of his mouth. Kisame merely grinned at the potent chakra being formed. That's a lot of chakra you're building up. Too bad though, said Kisame as he clapped his hands together for a technique. I'm your worst matchup. An enormous water shark appeared inside the dome of water with Kisame inside its mouth. Kisame thrust his arms out, the bottom of each palm touching, as the water shark made its way to Killer Bee, who released his own jutsu. Bayudama, tailed beast ball, Suten, Daikoden no jutsu, water style, great shark bullet technique. The two techniques met with Kisame's appearing to eat Bee's jutsu and grow in size before continuing forward. Killer Bee was so shocked at what occurred that he did nothing but take the shark right on the chin. The shark detonated and blasted him out of the water prison with concussive force. Word to Yamama, that thing ate a Bayudama, thought Killer Bee as he laid on the ground, out of his full transformation, in just a standard version 1 Jinchuriki cloak. Killer Bee strained to pick his head up, but in doing so was met with Kisum landing in front of him, taking a swipe at his legs with Samehada. Bee managed to evade taking the swipe but still lost his cloak in the process from the chakra-eating sword, further weakening him. Samehada's never been this excited about someone's chakra before, said Kisum holding the sentient sword in his hand. Samehada was also much larger in appearance from absorbing Killer Bee's chakra that its mouth became more pronounced and its size was bigger than Kisum himself. Thank you Hachibi, now just stay still and I'll cut off your legs. Kisum prepped for another swipe at Killer Bee, but just before he did, Samehada twitched in a warning. Though it came too late as a blue blur barreled into Kisum. The ex-Kiri swordsman was smacked clear across a ravine and into the side of a taller mountain. Erubo, elbow. A, bathed in his lightning armor, stood over B with his elbow extended. A then looked to the Hachibi Jinchuriki to see him on the ground in pain from his run-in with Kisum. You're welcome. Thanks, bro. You stay down B and regain your chakra, I'll handle him. B nodded as A took off to where he smacked Kisum. With Yugito. Why'd we have to get the long-distance one, kitten? Asked Yugito's Bayu, the Nibi. Yugito was in the process of dodging another clay bird from the Iwa bomber, Deidara, as she continued to scamper around away from his long-range assault. I'm not too sure, thought Yugito before unleashing a mighty blue fireball from her mouth that Deidara easily dodged before sending out another clay bird. If I had to guess though, I'd assume from our earlier run-in with those immortal dudes that we couldn't beat them before, and I'd still be hard-pressed now. B-sama was already taking on Kisum. Leaving us with this guy. Yugito dodged another barrage of clay birds sent toward her as the Nibi internally nodded her head. Makes sense. The rakeage has arrived at least, said Nibi before seeing a stream of blue beams approach Deidara at a rapid pace. Oh. More than just the rakeage. I believe the correct term is cavalry. Yugito just smiled. Yes, Nibi-chan. The cavalry has arrived, thought Yugito as she saw A's right-hand man, Darui, fire off power streams of energy at Deidara. Rantan, Riza Sakisu, storm style, laser circus, said Darui firing off the guided beams at Deidara. Deidara grimaced at the powerful range technique, but his clay owl managed to evade all of the beams. Then the Iwa bomber was blinded by a flashbang. Well, at least what appeared to be a flashbang. Reigen Raikochu, lightning illusion flash of lightning pillar, said she as the bright light engulfed Deidara. Deidara recognized the genjutsu attempt almost immediately and channeled his chakra accordingly to break it. Upon doing so, Deidara just chuckled to himself. Cats move fast I see, said Deidara as behind him stood Yugito, bathed in her blue chakra cloak. Yes we do, said Yugito before extending her fingernails and lashing out at Deidara. Konoha, same time. Shisu, are you serious? Yes, I am Sakura. It really wasn't that bad, said Tsunade setting her teacup down on her desk. Jiraiya wasn't the lecherous Jiraiya on our date. He was just Jiraiya and it was mightily refreshing. Are you saying you actually like Jiraiya-sama? Don't insinuate that. That won't happen, said Tsunade picking up a doent on her desk. There's a long back story behind that which I'm sure you'd love to hear, but this isn't the place for that, nor do I feel like sharing it. Sakura only smiled at Tsunade though, despite her words. Tsunade-sama has a thing for her teammate, said Sakura as Tsunade's cheeks heated up into a blush. Not out of embarrassment but out of anger. Perhaps both. Sakura. Tsunade's reply was cut short as her teacup cracked out of nowhere. Tsunade and Sakura both looked at the cup with worried expressions on their faces. Both knew something bad happened or was about to happen. With something like that, it usually preceded bad things. An omen of things to come. Root base. Kaiten, Hosenka Mekyaku, fire style, Phoenix Sage fire annihilation, said Sasuke before his chest puffed up and he launched out a volley of fireballs. The fireballs grew in size as they headed toward 8 target dummies. The fireballs hit each dummy pinpoint before exploding into a shower of fire around them. Sasuke admired his work before his eternal Sharingan looked over to the man standing directly to his right. The man had a small smile on his face at what he saw. That is an impressive jutsu, Sasuke-kun, said Itachi with his own M's shining brightly in the dim underground base. Sasuke just smirked at that acknowledgement from his elder brother. Thanks, Nisan. Though it's not the only thing I've been working on, said Sasuke as an ethereal being formed around Sasuke in a purple chakra. My Susanoo, I've accessed more of it. Itachi's eyes seemed to analyze the new Susanoo as he noticed a few differences about it from when the two of them fought. Instead of the arrows made of chakra like before, Sasuke's Susanoo now wielded arrows made of Ameterasu's fire. Sasuke could now fire bows of inextinguishable flames against his opponents. But that wasn't the only change, the other was a pair of wings spreading out of his Susanoo's back. The scaled hands, beak-like hood, wings, and Amaterasu arrows gave Sasuke's Susanoo a daunting appearance. Just before Itachi could comment on the new Susanoo, he seemed to jolt slightly before peering his eyes out to his right. Sasuke noticed the action and also looked in the same direction while letting his Susanoo fade. Knowing Sasuke would ask, Itachi answered before he could ask the question. I have a feeling something bad has occurred. With Naruto. Naruto stood, still cloaked in his Kyuubi chakra mode, in front of Kakazu who was looking at him with a grin on his face. Several branches were skewered through Kakazu's body as he sat motionless in the piercing trees. Coughing up blood, Kakazu was nearing the end. Seems that I still can't overcome that Kekai Genkai. You're the strongest of Hashirama's ilk in years, said Kakazu before coughing up more blood. Naruto merely took out a kunai as Kakazu left him with a few more words. Seems you really are Hashirama's heir. Even more skilled than I remember him being. Naruto spared no more words before planting the kunai into Kakazu's head, killing the dangerous Akatsuki member. Naruto looked over to his left to see A handling Kisame with ease and to his right to see Yugito, Darui, and she taking care of Deidara. Naruto just nodded his head, realizing that the other two fights were going well. I'll be the judge of whether or not you're comparable to Hashirama. Naruto's eyes widened recognizing Tobi's chakra signature and even more when Kurama told him who the second signature belonged to. Uchiha Madara. Naruto turned around and there standing before him, exactly like his statue at the Valley of the End, was Uchiha Madara. Madara had waist-length hair with shoulder-length bangs framing the sides of his face, covering most of his right eye. Madara had prominent creases under both of his eyes, which were blood-red with his M's staring at Naruto. Madara wore a blue high-collared, long-sleeved blue mantle that splits down the lower half and a simple, light brown obi and belt. On his back was his famous war fan that had a long black chain running up it. Madara just glowered at Naruto for a few seconds before nodding his head. You seem like quite the challenge, said Madara with his arms crossed looking at Naruto. To tame the Kyuubi inside of you is impressive. And hearing all of these stories about you only makes me want to find out if they bear any truth. Naruto didn't speak as he continued to look at the legendary Uchiha. This was one of the founders of Konoha. The penultimate shinobi of his best friend's clan. Naruto was then dragged into his mindscape to speak with his Beiyu companion. Naruto, do not trifle with this man. He knows that, Kyuubi, said Madara standing next to Naruto in his mindscape. Naruto's eyebrows raised at Madara's appearance inside his own mind but chalked it up to his prowess with the Sharingan. Itachi could do the same and so could Sasuke, why wouldn't the most powerful Uchiha in history be able to? Frankly, how was he even here? How are you alive? I believe his name was Nagato. He was forced to bring me back with a special technique of the Rinnegan. And I'm here to correct the mistakes of my underling in capturing you Jinchuriki. Madara, shouted Kurama as he stood up and snarled at Madara. Madara looked at Kurama before the large fox was silenced by the powerful Uchiha. Kurama's eyes glazed over as Madara looked back at Naruto. Can't deal with distractions from a mindless beast, said Madara before seeing Naruto channel his chakra. Madara's eyes widened in surprise when Naruto's chakra was actually powerful enough to dispel his control of the Kyuubi. That presence gives me nostalgia of Hashirama. Naruto didn't speak another word before the Madara in front of him was violently kicked out of his mind. Kurama clearly didn't like the Uchiha. Madara grinned at being expelled before addressing the boy in front of him. Do not disappoint me, said Madara before blowing out a violent wave of fire at Naruto. Naruto was quick to act, having already placed his hands in the snake seal. Mokuton, Hobi no Jutsu, wood style, Wood expulsion technique. A large, wooden dragon head surrounded Naruto and protected him from the powerful fire technique. Madara then had to jump back to avoid a large claw made of wood that attempted to attack him from underneath the ground. The wooden dragon head around Naruto sank back into the floor as Naruto just channeled more chakra into his second technique. Mokuton, Hote no Jutsu, wood style, laughing Buddha technique, thought Naruto as more clawed hands, reminiscent of a fox's paw, burst from the ground surrounding Madara. Yes, said Madara as a blue chakra surrounded him, growing into his Susanoo. Madara's Susanoo had 4 arms as each one had a sword in hand. Madara did a quick spin and sliced the hands to stop Naruto's attack. Madara smiled as he saw Naruto had already moved again. You dance well. No faltering in your steps. A crack formed against Madara's Susanoo as Naruto stood with an enormous Rasengan trying to crush Madara's technique. Sasuke's Susanoo would have broken from the size of this Rasengan, thought Naruto needing to dodge a fist coming at him. Madara is on a whole other level than that Sasuke boy. That technique is based on the user's spiritual energy and willpower. Madara has one of the strongest I've ever seen, said Kurama, giving begrudging respect to the man he hated the most. You'll need Sage Mode to beat him. That's not even the full might of his Susanoo. There's more to it, questioned Naruto as his question got answered by Madara. His Susanoo grew legs and stood in front of Naruto. Many times the size of the average man. No freaking way does his Susanoo have legs. Why is it so big? You haven't seen anything yet. That's not even the full Susanoo. Come, boy, show me the power of a Senju as only Hashirama could, said Madara before sending out another powerful stream of fire at Naruto, quicker than the first. With a, seems the stories are true of you being the fastest man alive, said a bloodied and beat up Kisame. Kisame had been decimated in his battle against the Yondaime Raikage. And now, since Samehada wasn't within reach, Kisame couldn't even heal from his wounds. A just continued to stand before Kisame in his lightning cloak as he looked down at the defeated swordsman. I won't allow you Akatsuki to take B or Yugito. Those other villagers may not have cared about their shinobi, but Kumogakure is different, said A as his cloak sparked a bit brighter as he prepped to finish Kisame for good. Rocketing toward Kisame with an arm extended, A prepared to take his head clean off his shoulders. Rariato, lariat. A hit Kisame across the neck. Actually, A didn't touch Kisame at all. Instead, A ended up rocketing toward the wall and stopping just before hitting it. A then turned around to only see the masked man standing there. I can't let you do that, Raikage. I have more use for him. The masked man, Toby. The real leader of Akatsuki, said A reciting the information Naruto gave to him from his time with Nagato in Omegakure. The man who can evade any attack. Can be pretty much anywhere with your space-time ninjutsu. And lo and behold, is an Uchiha as well. Someone's done their homework. Toby then watched A turn to B before slowly walking over to him. I know you know better than to try and touch me. Because in that instance, I'll put you 6 feet under, said A in a serious tone before vanishing to his brother's location. Toby stood unfazed before letting out a sigh at the powerful Kage's words. As much as I wish to show him how wrong he is, he doesn't have a Bayu. It'd be pointless, thought Toby before vanishing in another spiraling vortex. If he couldn't get to B without the Raikage's interference and Naruto was being handled by Madara, that left him with one option. The Nibi should be easy pickings. With Yugito. Yugito stood on her own mountain peak, flanked by Darui and Shi, as the three of them looked at the motionless Deidara on the ground before them. Wonder what he would have done if we didn't stop that last attempt, said Darui looking lazily down at the dead Akatsuki member. Deidara, after being violently beat off his clay owl, knew that he'd stand no chance against the cloaked Yugito. Let alone her with backup. So Deidara went with his last trump move, an explosion the size of 10 kilometers. Though it never came to fruition as Yugito appeared in front of him with a lightning-enhanced claw to the heart, ending any build-up of his final technique. Yeah, thank Kami you thought and moved fast, Yugito-chan. I don't know what we would have done, said Shi before jolting his head up. Shi looked to Naruto's location as he saw a large blue ani. One he recognized. I didn't know someone in the Akatsuki could use Susanoo. Yugito peered her eyes over to Naruto and her eyes widened at the scene. None of them can. There isn't one anymore since Itachi left. Yugito prepared to take off and help Naruto, but the sudden appearance of the masked man impeded her. Sorry Nibi, I can't allow you to do that, said the masked man as Yugito stopped her progress to stare at him hatefully. Not this guy again. But it won't be like Am this time, thought Yugito, shifting her feet into a stance. I know your secret. Just before Yugito could move, an enormous explosion occurred where Naruto was at. Yugito looked past the masked man to see the entire mountain peak Naruto was on was destroyed and ablaze with fire. Naruto-kun, thought Yugito before seeing her boyfriend appear next to her in a shunshin. Yugito took in Naruto's appearance to see him missing most of his shirt, only the parts lower than his belly button remaining. His pants were also singed but were still intact, and he was somehow free of injury other than missing his shirt. Probably due to the Jinchuriki cloak around him. Naruto-kun, what happened? Questioned Yugito as Naruto continued to stare at the platform that looked like a torch with the fire blazing the top of it. Big explosion. Very big. Toad oil and explosive notes. With Naruto, earlier. Come, boy, show me the power of a senju as only Hashirama could, said Madara. Madara then placed his hands in the tiger seal as he prepped another technique. Kaiten, Goku Meshitsu, fire style, great flame destruction. Madara let loose a stream of fire at Naruto once again. Naruto channeled chakra as the ground around him cracked and a forest sprang up to fight the fire being sent out by Madara. Madara continued his flamethrower technique before catching movement at the edge of the mountain top. Naruto stood on the edge of the mountain with his hands in the ram seal. Daigama Yuden, great toad bullet, said Naruto as his chest puffed up and his mouth filled with toad oil. Naruto let the toad oil fly off in a stream as it met the trees and fire right at their meeting point. The boy is fast. Not only will the oil ignite into a fire, thought Madara as he turned his Sharingan back to the trees, seeing white pieces of paper nearing the fire as well. He even managed to place high-powered explosive notes on the trees and timed it perfectly. I'm liking this. I haven't felt a thrill like this in a fight since Hashirama. Seems that Kakazu wasn't wrong in his assessment. Naruto's oil and explosive notes met the fire at the same time as it all detonated in an explosion of fire. Flashback end. And you just didn't make it far enough away in time, said Yugito as Naruto nodded. Never was one for the ending of your plan in making sure you don't get hurt. Oi. That was once on that floating ship that belonged to the Sky Ninja Fleet, said Naruto as Yugito just shook her head amused. Yugito's amusement ended though as she noticed the blue Susanoo land on the same platform as them, directly next to Toby. Unlike Naruto, Madara was untouched by the explosion and his Susanoo didn't even look fazed by it in the slightest. It was at that moment that Yugito, Darui, and she all recognized the man before them and their eyes widened in shock. Naruto-kun, please tell me that's not Uchiha Madara. I wouldn't want to be a liar, Yugi-chan. How is this possible? The Rinnegan has the power to bring back the dead, said Kurama, surprising Yugito that she could hear him. Don't worry, kitten. You're not crazy, said the Nibi to calm her Jinchuriki. Being a Jinchuriki, when you're close enough to another Jinchuriki, you can enter another mindscape. Another realm and speak to one another. Now listen to Kurama-kun, he'll explain it all since he's had the most run-ins with Madara. Yugito was ready to listen but was grabbed by Naruto and shifted to the other side of him to dodge a sword strike from Madara. Yugito was still held in Naruto's arms as she looked at him. Naruto was laser-focused as he looked at Madara. Keep your eyes peeled. You'll have to listen and move, Neko, said Naruto before letting Yugito go and placing his hands in the ram seal. Mokuton, Mokuryu, wood style, wood dragon. A large wooden dragon sprang from the ground behind Naruto as its lower end coiled around Naruto and Yugito. Naruto then turned his head to Darui and she, who both just sat back in awe of what was happening before them. Get out of here and get B to safety. Tell Raikage Dono to come, we may need his assistance, said Naruto quickly before turning back to Madara. Ah yes, Hashirama's famous wood dragon. A powerful technique it is, said Madara with his arms crossed as he looked down at Naruto and Yugito. Yugito and Naruto weren't paying attention to Madara though, as they'd been steadily listening to Kurama during the momentary break in the action. So our best bet would be to run? Questioned Yugito as Kurama internally nodded her head. Is he really that powerful? Yes, Naruto, you remember how strong the chakra imprint of Hashirama was. Questioned Kurama as Naruto knew where this was going. Madara is considered his equal. You'll either need to use Sage Mode and go all out or run, there's no in between here. Right, we can't necessarily run. Toby can teleport. And I don't want to enter Sage Mode here, said Naruto in reply as he let his dragon slide its way to Madara. We may be miles from Kumogakur, but if the story is true about the Valley of the End, this site won't be big enough to handle that type of destruction without it affecting the village in some way. The village will be fine. It's just a place since I'm certain the civilians have evacuated, informed Yugito to keep Naruto from feeling guilty. Plus, if we run, what about B? Reikage-sama, everyone else. If we just leave, that'll leave the village less guarded if he decides to attack it. Naruto watched Madara handle his wood dragon with experience garnered from his time against Hashirama as Naruto replied to Yugito. We'll take B as well. And if he's really after us Bayu, he won't bother taking out Kumogakur or anything else. I'm certain of it, thought Naruto seeing his wood dragon get sliced in half by Madara. From Gigi's stories, Madara is a man who will take what is necessary, no more. And the only necessary for his plan are me, you, and Kiribi. That's all. Kumo will be safe. Yugito seemed to begrudgingly agree with the plan as Ace sparked into the field next to the Jinchuriki couple. Ace saw the two weren't harmed before peering his eyes out at Toby and then Madara. Seems Darui and she weren't lying. Uchiha Madara has returned, said Ace staring down the legendary Uchiha. Madara just looked at the hulking cage with his Sharingan. Yotsuki clan, uses of the lightning armor technique. An ability that bolsters physical reflexes and speed to a degree of unprecedented quickness. So fast, even the Sharingan can't keep up, said Madara before adding. Well, most Sharingan that is. You'll see mine is a bit different. I'll go grab Hachibi while you handle this. Like hell, he will. Shouted A before upping his lightning cloak. Feel free to go all out Naruto. You have my permission and it's likely a necessity for who you're facing. Toby vanished in a vortex as Ace sped to his brother's location. This left Yugito and Naruto alone to contend with Madara. Red markings began to form on Naruto's face as Madara's eyes widened in intrigue at Naruto. Sage Mode. You really are just like Hashirama, said Madara as he looked on at the Sage Jinchuriki that was Naruto. This is even better than I could have hoped for. Come, and if you are lucky, I may show you the full power of the Uchiha clan before your deaths. Naruto heard Madara's words and only responded by placing his hands together, palm touching palm. The ground began to rumble as the fight was underway. There are moments, in life, where something was hard to do. So difficult at the time. Then something comes along later and makes that something seem like a cakewalk. Those moments in life could come often or at a seldom pace. Either way, they usually turn up eventually. This was Naruto and Yugito's current mood. All that other stuff is nothing. I don't know what I had to complain about before, said a battered and bruised Naruto. Yugito had her own injuries as she stood next to him. How does someone like Madara exist? I don't know. I used to say the same about you as a shinobi. There's no way. Yes, way. You're, honestly, like him. He's a full-grown man though. You're not even in your prime. This made sense. Naruto was incredibly strong. The number of people stronger than Naruto could be counted on one hand. That hand would likely have all 5 fingers remaining. And then Madara was revived. And it showed the skill difference between the warring era and the current peaceful one. What did they go through in the past to need to retain such a level of strength? Whatever it was had to be accompanied with a lot of pain and suffering, said Naruto, getting Yugito to nod. Naruto grit his teeth when he felt Madara build more chakra. Senpo, Suten, Kyodai Tsunami, Sage Art, Water Style, Giant Tsunami. Naruto spewed out a massive amount of water. The water splashed out into a Uranic wave that blocked Madara's fire jutsu. The wave didn't stop there and continued to crash into the man who sent out the fire. The water continued to pile off the mountain they were on before the blue silhouette of Madara's Susanoo came back into view. Sage Mode, what an ability. The speed and strength boosts are impressive. You managed to knock my Susanoo back a few steps, said Madara, completely unharmed inside his Susanoo. The same secret ability as Hashirama. Even though I harm you, your wounds regenerate immediately. The kit inside you probably aids that healing even further. Madara looked at Yugito and could see she was running low on stamina. She can't keep up with the likes of us. We are both bred from the original user of chakra. You can't keep protecting her in this battle or you'll die. Naruto wanted to rebuttal but Yugito stopped him. He's right, Naruto-kun. You're getting hurt a lot trying to keep me from getting hurt. Naruto turned to the girl. He saw concerned eyes from his lover. Your regeneration isn't safe with prolonged use. You'll cut your lifespan short. That's what Tsunade-sama said, isn't it? Yes, cells can only replace themselves a limited number of times. Yugito turned to Madara angrily. Why? What is this all for? Why are you collecting all of the Bayu? Questioned a frustrated Yugito. Her outburst surprised Madara as she seemed pretty docile until now. None of this makes any sense. You were one of the ones who passed out the Bayu in the Shinobi Wars era. Why take them back now when you could have kept them all? That was Hashirama's doing and I agreed, then. This is now and I need the Bayu for my Eye of the Moon plan. Madara closed his eyes as he continued. I'm going to trap everyone in a dream world. No more wars. No more bickering. No more feuding. Just a dream. Yugito was stopped from responding by Naruto. He grabbed her hand and got her to look at him. No need to worry about all of that talking, Yugi-chan. How would talking solve anything? Questioned Naruto before turning to Madara. All of it is a waste of breath and time. We won't convince him. He's been planning this for a while. There's no reneging possible for him at this point. Yugito felt Naruto's chakra ramp up while he spoke. His Jinchuriki cloak was as vibrant as it had ever been. Let's just kick his ass. He can't complete his plan when he's 6 feet under. And I'll make sure he doesn't come back this time. Yugito liked that plan. The white necklace around her neck began to glow and pulsate. It was pulsing like a rapidly beating heart. Yugito's chakra cloak grew stronger and more lively with each pulse. The girl smiled realizing what Naruto was doing. This is what the Kyuubi's chakra feels like, said Yugito feeling the influx of Kurama's chakra. Yugito felt like she could jump to the moon. I never would have guessed it was this potent. It's amazing. Thank you. I know how awesome I am but, it's nice to know other people do too, said Kurama with a grin. Kurama's chakra is nice, kitten. However, said the Nibi noticing Naruto's chakra. The Bayu felt its calming effect. Naruto-kun's chakra just makes you feel good. As if everything is going to go right. You know it, said Naruto before he let go of Yugito's hand. Hands in the ram seal, Naruto turned to Madara. Can I get an assist, my love? You never have to ask. Yugito's hands were in the tiger seal. Wind and fire combined to blast Madara. The battle was on and renewed. Hokage Tower, same time. Nothing yet on Naruto. Nothing. We sent a messenger hawk to Kumogakur, the Anbu have been signaling him through his tattoo, and even the toad we sent out hasn't returned. He's not dead if his Anbu tattoo still resonates. And the hawk may have been impeded in its trip, said Tsunade nervously chewing her thumb. At least we know he's alive. If the hawk hasn't returned then something is going on in Kumo. And for him to not answer the tattoo nor the toad, he must be in a battle. He is. Tsunade turned and saw Itachi appear in a flock of crows. Sasuke was with him and had a stern look on his face. And he may need assistance. Root Anbu in Kumogakur has confirmed it. Uchiha Madara is alive and fighting Naruto. Tsunade and Sakura's eyes widened at the information from Sasuke. The cage took a seat immediately. She wasn't sure her legs would support her. Uchiha Madara was alive. How is that possible? Itachi answered the cage. The leader of Akatsuki is a user of the Rinnegan. An eye with power over life and death. It is plausible that that is the cause of Madara's reincarnation. How fast could we get to Kumogakur? Questioned Tsunade even though she knew the answer. We won't make it in time to help him since he's already in battle. We have to trust that he can handle himself, said Sasuke before frowning. I'm mad I won't be there to see him go all out. Or that I can't take on that relic myself. Dead people should stay dead. Sasuke-kun's right, Tsunade-sama. Naruto is powerful, said Sakura trying to somewhat keep it together. Sakura was a history buff and knew who Uchiha Madara was. However, she had faith in her blonde teammate. He created a 1,000-tailed fox in a Megacore that could wipe out a village with ease. He'll be fine. The optimism of Sasuke and Sakura was necessary. They were ignorant on a few things though. They didn't know the full might of Uchiha Madara like Tsunade and Itachi did. The two of them wouldn't say anything though. They would hope that all went well. Naruto and Yugito versus Madara. It's futile. If you can't even break through this version of Susanoo, you can't hope to win, said Madara after taking the powerful Fire Wind combo. He allowed it to hit him to show their inferiority. Perhaps I spoke too soon about you, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Maybe you aren't worthy. We weren't trying to best your Susanoo. We only wanted to block your view for a second. Madara felt a branch wrap around his arm. Coming from underneath Susanoo, smart, thought Madara before being yanked and slung out of his Susanoo. Slung directly at Naruto. He's faced a Mangekyo Sharingan before. Naruto threw a jab at Madara. The Uchiha managed to flip in midair and land a few feet in front of Naruto before blocking. Madara blocked the jab thrown by Naruto before moving his arm down to block the knee sent to his side. You should be breaking his arms with the force of your Sage Mode and my chakra, said Kurama as Naruto threw out a pair of kicks that were also blocked. He absorbed the Nibi's chakra and uses it to reinforce his defense. Are you admiring him? Thought Naruto before speeding up his strikes and thrusting a palm at Madara's stomach. Naruto formed a Rasengan as it struck true. No way. It's useless the way you're fighting. He can handle the influx of Sage Chakra from your using, said Kurama as Naruto's Rasengan was absorbed by Madara. The man's Rinnegan was a problem for sure. Ninjutsu was practically worthless. I do know one way that you can fight him. Let me hear it, thought Naruto before dodging a kick. You fight well. Your taijutsu is impressive and your timing is sharp, said Madara continuing to strike at Naruto. The Kyuubi's chakra let him outpace the Uchiha. Unfortunately for you, I can use your chakra against you. Madara charged up his own Beiyu cloak. Naruto wasn't prepared for the speed increase. Naruto's block was late as Madara's punch nearly caved in his chest. He was sent skidding back from the blow before dropping to a knee. Yugito landed next to Naruto and checked on him. Madara crossed his arms in disappointment. If this is the extent of your power, you should surrender now. Madara's Susanoo made its way back to protect him once more. You got the plan? Questioned Kurama as Naruto nodded his head. Yugito heard everything as well through the link they still shared. Naruto let loose a breath before placing his hands together. Give him hell. Senpo, Mokuton, Seigo no Jukai Koten, Sage Mode, Wood Style, Final Nativity of a World of Trees. The ground rumbled for a split second. The entire mountain was swallowed whole by a slew of gargantuan trees. The trees bloomed instantaneously and everywhere on the mountain. An area of a square kilometer was covered in nothing but trees. You have techniques like this still. Naruto and Yugito stood safely atop the forest. She huffed indignantly, realizing something. Our spars literally mean nothing. You beat me fair and square, Yugi-chan. Don't get down on yourself. I have nothing in my arsenal that can beat this. I can't even beat the fox from Omegakure. How strong are you? This is getting out of hand. Naruto smiled at his girlfriend's words. His smile disappeared immediately as Yugito's jaw dropped. His Susanoo is massive. Kurama, so that's what you meant, thought Naruto looking at the mountain-tall Susanoo Madara manifested. Yes, the final version. The true Susanoo. That's what that feels like, thought Naruto, commenting how he was usually the one to show super-powered techniques. It felt weird to witness them. I've been doing this to people. Yes, this was one of the first techniques that I considered close to my power, said Kurama before adding. And of course the one you created. You may want to use it now. You really are something this generation should be proud of, said Madara with bruises and cuts across his body. The quick spawning of the trees battered him around quite a bit. Hashirama would be proud of what you became. And to make me use this jutsu, I'm proud as well. Glad I could impress. Naruto-kun, you need to make that senbi. We can't hope to contend with that without it, thought Yugito through their link. I need a little bit of time. I can't send Sage Jutsu after Sage Jutsu like that. I'll run out, won't be able to enter it for some time, thought Naruto in reply as he bit his thumb. Just got to hold him off for a bit. You'll need more or this fight is over, said Madara as his Susanoo let a slash go that cut through the mountains. The ease he did this with was frightening. The Uchiha watched Naruto simply summon a very familiar scroll. The Scroll of Seals. The scroll was kicked open. Jutting past a few jutsu, the scroll stopped at a particularly large seal that Naruto slammed his hand on. Mokuton Fuinshiki, sealing ceremony of wood style, said Naruto as the seal spread glowed before expanding rapidly. Madara and Yugito both watched with amazement as the seal spread perfectly over the trees Naruto created. A heavenly glow preceded a bright flash. When the light died down, Madara, Naruto, and Yugito were all standing on a barren field. The field was void of anything that was within the seal radius. A fuinjutsu that seals chakra techniques and alters the battlefield. A flatter ground helps Mokuton uses more than a mountain would, said Madara with a chuckle. And you removed my Susanoo without facing its wrath. Naruto and Yugito stood silently before seeing Madara raise an eyebrow in confusion. As you said, the fuinjutsu seals chakra techniques. You can't use Susanoo as long as this seal remains active. Yugito smirked hearing this. Naruto shut down one of Madara's most powerful abilities. I can't use any form of Jukai Koten, but it's a small price to pay to get rid of Susanoo. I'm more and more impressed with every interaction, said Madara as the couple sprinted at him. Playtime is over. Rinbo, Hengoku, Wheelgrave, Border Jail. Naruto moved faster than Yugito. Thus, he arrived first and was inches away from dislocating Madara's jaw. Then he was hit by an invisible force. The same happened with Yugito as the two of them were sent tumbling backward. Anybody got the number of that train? Questioned a loopy Naruto. He regained his bearings before looking at the Uchiha. Nagato could do the same. However, that felt like I got punched in the face only. It wasn't a wall like Nagato's. Naruto's eyes widened when he was grabbed. A restrictive full Nelson had Naruto stuck fast. However, there was no one behind him. Madara nodded before placing his hand on the ground. Kuchio's summoning. An enormous humanoid statue rose from the ground behind Madara. That's it. This is what Sasuke was talking about back then. The Gedo Mazo, the shell of the Juubi. It needs our chakra to fully form. We have to get out of here. Naruto began to struggle against the force that was holding him. Whatever is holding us is strong. I can't move. Naruto felt the same as Yugito. I'll be taking your Bayu, said Madara as the mouth of the statue glowed. Two large chains came flying out at the two Jinchuriki. The chains wrapped tightly around their necks. There's no use struggling. Once I latch on, I never let go. Senpo, Myojinman, Sage Art, Gate of the Great God, said Naruto behind Madara. Madara was crushed and held firm by three overlapping and large torii. The torii didn't stop at Madara as they also landed around the neck of the statue and on its ankles, wrists, and midsection. That was too easy. All of you Senjus are the same, said Madara behind Naruto with his arms crossed. The same little tricks with clones. It's too bad you didn't get her out of there as well. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the demonic chain still around Yugito's neck. The gates should have stopped the statue's chakra. How is it still active? Asked Naruto seeing the silhouette of the Nibi forming out of Yugito. Her Bayu was being removed. No, not again. As I said, I never let go. The Nibi was getting more and more pulled away from Yugito. Madara's eyebrow rose as he saw Naruto vanish in a shunshin that looked more like teleporting. Seems dire situations brought out the best in him. Naruto-kun. Yugi-chan. The Nibi left Yugito completely. Naruto caught the falling girl, dropping to his knees, and held her in his arms as he saw her eyes beginning to close. I won't lose you. Madara looked at Naruto holding the dying girl. His Sharingan picked up on something troubling. Looking at the Gedo Mazo, Madara saw vines wrapped around it. Those vines were connected to Naruto. He's stealing the Gedo's chakra and funneling it to the girl, thought Madara before he channeled his chakra. Rinbo, Hengoku, Wheelgrave, Border Jail. Naruto's head snapped up in surprise. Before Madara's jutsu could get to him, Naruto vanished with Yugito. Madara saw them disappear and realized that it wasn't a shunshin. No, it was something more troubling. Seems he learned a new trick, thought Madara as there was no trace of Naruto anywhere. Mount Myoboku, moments earlier. Okay, I think I got it this time. Check it, said a clone Naruto in front of 6 other clones. The clone was looking directly at a piece of paper 5 feet from him that had a seal formula on it. Hiraishin, Flying Thunder God. The surrounding clones watched the clone vanish and land above the paper as their eyes widened. Not because the clone did the jutsu right. No, the clone appeared in two pieces. The clone screamed in agonizing pain before it dispelled in a puff of smoke. Ouch, that looked so bad. An easy fix, he didn't draw this curve right, said the clone, showing the others. They all nodded their heads in approval. The clone was absolutely correct and the jutsu would work properly this time. A fist then dispelled that clone in a puff of smoke. Another clone caught the paper in his hand after dispelling its identical. I'm telling the original that I did this. Anyone that has a problem with that can die as he did, said the clone in a hostile tone. The other clones looked at him like he was stupid. You realize you dispelled him, right? His memories went to Naruto. He already knows. The original appeared right after. The clones all jumped immediately at the surprise arrival. Holy crap, boss. You scared us. We didn't think you were coming so fast, said the clone before noticing the wounds that were healing on Naruto. The clone gasped when it noticed the unconscious Yugito in his hands. Yugi-chan. What happened? She's fine, guys. And thank you, you really saved us, said Naruto before the clone saluted him. They promptly dispelled as Naruto turned back to Yugito. You're going to be fine, Yugi-chan. You have to be fine. The girl will live. Your improvisation worked like a charm. Naruto wasn't even startled by the voice or presence behind him. He was too focused on Yugito. Kurama-kun, can you please have him turn toward me? I have something to tell him. Naruto, turn around, said Kurama in a voice that left it not up for debate. This is the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto stood with Yugito in his arms as he turned to see a man floating in the air in a lotus position. The man was tall and skinny and had deep wrinkles on his face showing his elderly age. He had spiky, shoulder-length, pale red hair with a chin-length braid hanging in front of his left ear. He had a long goatee that tapered all the way down to his waist and horn-like protrusions on his forehead. His eyes were the daunting Rinnegan and in the middle of his forehead was another Rinnegan, though red in color. On his right palm was a light-colored circle and on his left palm was a dark-colored crescent moon. He wore a white, full-length kimono with a pattern of 6 black magatamas around a high collar, beneath which he wore a necklace that was also made up of 6 black magatamas. On the back of his kimono was a larger Rinnegan marking with a pattern of 9 magatamas arranged in 3 rows of 3 beneath it. It is a pleasure to meet you, Sage of Six Paths. Please, call me Hashirama. Naruto nodded before turning and walking away. You seem like a patient man. I will tend to Yugi-chan first and come back. I'm sure you understand. The sage smiled and nodded his head. I will be here waiting, said the sage watching Naruto walk away. You don't know what you've done, but you have to be the one to do this. Konoha, next day. So, how long has this been going? Trembles were constant in Konoha. There was a large output of chakra being exuded from Training Ground 44, the Forest of Death. Tsunade let out a sigh hearing the question. Since he came back, said Tsunade as another tremble violently shook the area. Tsunade's sake cup fell off her desk during it. Tsunade caught the cup and put it back on the table. This is the 9th time I've had to catch this damn cup. Naruto arrived back in Konoha the next day after his run-in with Madara. Since arriving, he'd been in the Forest of Death. The Forest of Death was the site of his Chunin exams and held numerous dangerous insects and animals in it. Naruto was tearing through them all as he prepped for Madara's imminent arrival. There was no way the Uchiha wasn't coming. Can someone go stop him? It may get out of hand, Tsunade-sama. He's causing a constant earthquake. We've tried. The entirety of your class, the Rookie 9, went in there. Well, not Shikamaru. Naruto chewed the rest up and spat them back out, said Tsunade before stopping Sakura. Yes, even Sasuke couldn't stop him. Itachi went in there and went longer than everyone else. He came back tired as Naruto trumped him due to chakra supply differences. He was our best bet really. Well, you're the Hokage. Maybe you can get him to stop. Tsunade gave her an incredulous look. Right, bad joke. However, there are tons of complaints from the civilians. We have to do something. Letting out a sigh, Tsunade stood up. Fine, I'll go, said Tsunade walking out of her office to the Forest of Death. Forest of Death. The tremors grew stronger the closer you got to the Forest of Death. It felt like a full-fledged earthquake. Tsunade stood with a megaphone as she shook her head. Looking behind her, there were dozens of shinobi from all over Konoha. They were ready to stop Naruto at all costs. They knew he wouldn't kill them, but the earthquakes didn't make their faith in that aspect assured. I have gotten numerous complaints, Naruto. Despite how far you are from the village, it's still causing a disturbance, said Tsunade through the megaphone. I'm giving you to the count of 10 to stop, or I'll have to use force to stop you. Tsunade placed the megaphone down as the tremors continued despite her words. Tsunade was counting to 10 in her head. She went slower and slower as she got closer to 10. She really didn't want to have a squadron of shinobi in the hospital for failing to stop a comrade. Naruto was on a clear mission, and honestly, she was all for letting him do whatever he needed. However, she'd reached 10 in her count. Tsunade-sama, do we have to? Asked one of the shinobi behind Tsunade. It seems we must. Alright, everyone ready. The ninjas were not ready. Wait, hold on, shouted an Inuzaka clan member. Hope was on the man's face as the other Inuzakas smelled the same thing. We have a ringer, Tsunade-sama. A ringer? Questioned Tsunade before her question was answered. Another blonde landed next to her, quiet as a feather. I'm happy you woke up. I am too. I assume that's Naruto-kun over there. Who else could it be? Goosebumps were visible on Yugito's skin. She felt Naruto's presence the moment she woke up. It was dominating the entirety of Konoha and likely for a large radius outside of it. Yugito's excitement was palpable as she pointed to the forest. May I, Hokage-sama? Sure. You're probably our best bet. Yugito vanished in a blur. The group of Konoha shinobi all stood patiently waiting. A few more seconds passed by before the tremors ceased. Naruto's chakra died down as the oppressive feeling in the air vanished. Tsunade smiled as the shinobi behind her cheered in relief. Thank you all for your help. You can go back to whatever you were doing and will be paid accordingly. The group nodded and began getting back to their normal lives. All but one member of the Inuzaka clan. Yes. Not to speculate, but it's hard not to, said the Inuzaka as he looked at the forest. Naruto-san is a fox and Yugito is a cat by way of their bijuas. Both of which release pheromones, and Naruto-san was releasing a ton. That's why Hana and the other female members didn't come. They were riled up since we're so sensitive to them. Even you probably feel that way on a lesser scale. What does that have to do with anything? The woman had an idea. Yugito-san was the same as all of our female Inuzakas. She was drawn here because of Naruto's alpha presence. And when she arrived, her body began letting off her own pheromones in preparation. That only happens when it's time to mate. Sakura put a hand to her mouth as Tsunade nodded her head. It was exactly what she figured. The ninja grinned, then bid his Hokage farewell. Well, at least it stopped the tremors. Tsunade jinxed it as the tremors started back up. Smaller than before, but there was no chakra output. Damn, I didn't know the Gaki was that good. You should have been pursuing him back in the day, Sakura. He's probably giving it to her how she wants it, and you know his stamina is. Tsunade-sama, said Sakura, cutting off her sensei as her face heated up. It was then Sakura realized how hot her body felt. We need to get out of here. Clearly, Inuzaka-san was right about that pheromone thing. I can't concentrate. Naruto on the brain? Questioned Tsunade, seemingly immune to the effects. I bet he's an animal too. He'd probably wear you out and leave you out of commission for days. You probably wouldn't walk the same way again. I heard he was packing a monster. Tsunade smiled as the flustered girl vanished in a shunshin. Tsunade then turned to a tree and walked over to it. Come on out, Jiraiya. I know you're there. Jiraiya materialized with a sour look on his face. You always know when I'm here, said Jiraiya as he stood up to look at Tsunade. It's not like I was going to peek on the Gaki or anything. Why not? Questioned Tsunade as Jiraiya's eyes widened. Tsunade pulled a camera from out of her kimono as she smirked. I plan to film it and make money off it. Let's go. Jiraiya smirked back before he held up a hand to stop Tsunade. Two things. 1. How'd you pull that camera out from your chest and not have it visible through your shirt? And 2. Can I get a whiff of that thing? Jiraiya went sailing away after Tsunade punched him. The cage shook her head before heading into the forest. The Naruto and Yugito's tape would make her millions. The next day, Konoha main gate. That's got to be some kind of record. 7 hours. My goodness, said Anko as she stood at the gate. Gaki is my hero. I need something like that in my life. A laugh came from the group as Naruto blushed at the violet-haired Kunoichi's remarks. His blush covered his face when Yugito chimed in. Feel free to join next time, said Yugito as Anko's eyes widened at that. Anko smirked before the entire group noticed Naruto perk up. The group consisting of Sasuke, Itachi, Sakura, Kakashi, Yugito, Tsunade, and Jiraiya all looked at Naruto as the Kyuubi Jinchuriki nodded. Anko, knowing this wasn't a fight she could take part in, wished the group good luck before she got out of range. Naruto stood in front of the group in his Anbu uniform sans his mask. Over the outfit, he wore an orange cloak that had black flames at the bottom of it. And on the back of his waist sat the scroll of seals. Yugito stood next to Naruto as she wore her normal attire with metal braces on her forearms and a grey flak jacket like Naruto's Anbu 1. The two stood holding hands as the rest of the contingent was behind them. It's time, said Naruto as a vortex opened up in front of them. Appearing from the vortex were Tobi, Zetsu, Kisame, and Madara. Tobi, Zetsu, and Kisame all looked the same while Madara added the red-plated armor from his days as a shinobi. The glow of Madara's Rinnegan was daunting. He only looked at Naruto and disregarded everyone else. 4 against 8. Seems we're outnumbered, said Zetsu before smiling. Let's even this up a bit. From the horizon and the forest outlining Konoha, hundreds upon hundreds of clones of Zetsu appeared. They were walking toward Konoha as they all had smirks on their faces. There's so many of them, said Sakura gasping at the number of white Zetsu clones. Sakura watched as a purple shroud of chakra formed around Sasuke into that of a humanoid being. Sasuke-kun. I got them, said Sasuke as he jumped over the group along with Jiraiya to handle the Zetsu clones. Along with them were dozens of Konoha's root. No mercy, all of them die today. Itachi-san, said Kisame as Itachi looked at the swordsman. The ex-partners mirrored each other as they sprinted to the west. Kakashi turned right as Tobi latched onto him and they both vanished in a vortex. Yugito squeezed Naruto's hand as he squeezed it back reassuringly. Yugito vanished as she landed in front of the halfway submerged Zetsu. Hi, said Yugito before she decked the plant man with a punch that knocked him out of the ground and dozens of feet backward. Yugito smiled as she followed the Akatsuki spy. Madara stood alone with his arms crossed as he continued to look at Naruto. Neither of them broke eye contact the entire time. Tsunade and Sakura stood behind Naruto as the air grew heavy. The chakra, it's suffocating, said Sakura feeling weak. Even Tsunade was feeling out of place at the moment. A feeling she hadn't felt in a long time. This is exactly how Gigi used to be when he got serious, thought Tsunade before seeing Naruto appear in front of Madara. A shock wave sounded out from the clash of the two as the fight was on. The end was near. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.